I wanted to share with you the fact that as governor of New Mexico, as a Republican governor of New Mexico, that I was completely outside of the political process. Completely. I mean, I went and I introduced myself to the Republican Party 2 weeks before I announced my candidacy to run for governor of New Mexico. New Mexico is a state that's 2-to-1 Democrat, and I made a name for myself as governor of New Mexico vetoing legislation. I vetoed 750 bills while I was governor of New Mexico. I had thousands of line-item vetoes as governor of New Mexico. And really, it made a difference when it came, only 2 were overridden. So it made a difference when it came to billions of dollars worth of spending. It made a difference when it came to all sorts of legislation that would have infringed on our civil liberties. Would have taken longer, more time, more money to comply with these government laws, and I stood up to that. And I got reelected in a state that was 2-to-1 Democrat by saying no to government. So what I think really speaks volumes is that people really do appreciate good stewardship of tax dollars. And I've always said that good government is easy. It's not hard. It's easy to look at issues first and politics last. So I am Libertarian candidate for president. I'm one of 3 candidates that's going to be on the ballot in all 50 states. I'm not the 3rd choice. I like to think I'm the only choice. Of the 3 candidates, Obama, Romney, and myself, I'm the only candidate that wants to get out of Afghanistan tomorrow, bring the troops home. I'm the only candidate that is talking about marriage equality from the standpoint of it being constitutionally guaranteed, on par with civil rights in the 60s. I'm the only candidate that wants to repeal the Patriot Act. That would not have signed the National Defense Authorization Act, allowing for detainment of you and I without you or I being charged. I'm the only candidate that wants to bring an end to the drug wars. I am the only candidate that is promising to submit a balanced budget to Congress in the year 2013, believing that if we don't balance the federal budget, we're going to find ourselves in a monetary collapse. And a monetary collapse, very simply, is when the dollars that we have in our pocket don't buy a thing because of the accompanying inflation that goes along with borrowing and printing money to the tune of 43 cents out of every dollar that we're spending. I'm also the only candidate that is promising to abolish the IRS, the income tax, and the corporate tax. I am promising to submit a balanced budget to Congress in the year 2013. That is a 43% reduction in government spending. And people ask, well, how are you going to reduce government spending by 43%? Well, number one, I think the biggest threat to our national security is the fact that we borrow and print money to the tune of 43 cents out of every dollar that we're spending. So we need to address the entitlements. We need to address Medicaid. We need to address Medicare. I think we need to devolve healthcare delivery to the states. Do that with 43% less money and with 50 laboratories of innovation working on this, the states, we will find absolute success that'll get emulated. We're going to also see some spectacular failure that will get avoided. But Washington top-down knows best. That's what has us in the situation that we're in right now. I'm going to be the only candidate that's going to be proposing a 43% reduction in military spending. And military spending... Can we provide a strong national defense for this country and still cut military spending by 43%? The answer is absolutely yes. The answer is absolutely yes. Bring them home. So how does a 43% reduction in military spending work itself out? Well, it's getting ourselves out of all the military conflicts that we are currently involved in, period. And then when it comes to military intervention in the future, that is something that Congress needs to approve in the first place. And that debate and that discussion and that vetting of going to war is something that is very, very important. And of course, that's why it's in the Constitution that congressional authority has to be given for that to take place. But a 43% reduction in military spending, here's how that goes down. It's reducing nuclear warheads from 2,300 down to 500. Do we really need to bomb? Do we really need to blow up the planet 10 times, or might 5 times do it? Well, 5 times might do it. It's getting ourselves out of all the military conflicts that we are currently engaged in. It's our military footprint worldwide that we have to reduce by 43%. That's all the bases, that's the military that are stationed in Europe, in South Korea, in Japan. It's the military in uniform, it's the civilian support staff that goes along with those in uniform, it's intelligence, and it's research and development. And when you think that defense or military spending cutting at 43%, that's only taking us back to 2003 when it comes to funding levels. And here's what upsets me more than anything else in this entire country. And what upsets me more than anything else in this entire country, it's politicians that stand up and say, vote for me and I'll save you from the illegal immigrant. I'll save you from poor health care. I'll save you from drugs. I'll save you from terrorist threat. And when it comes to terrorist threat and when it comes to foreign invasion, I'm going to save you at the cost of men and servicewomen losing their lives. That makes me unbelievably upset. That is abhorrent. And not only are men and servicewomen losing their lives, but men and servicewomen are coming back to this country with their limbs blown off, and all in the name of, I think, politicians standing up, and this is how we're going to save the world, elect me, and I'm going to send our servicewomen, men and servicewomen over there to make this kind of sacrifice. Well, it's not that politician making the sacrifice, it's the men and servicewomen, and so in support of men and servicewomen everywhere, let's make sure that the conflicts we get involved in are constitutional, that they are declared, that they are okayed by Congress. These military interventions have unintended consequences. That's all I've witnessed my entire life. We take out Muammar Gaddafi in Libya. His private army goes off to Mali and displaces the democracy of Mali. So we're down one democracy when it comes to Libya. And who's going to take over in Libya? Another authoritarian dictatorship as opposed to the authoritarian dictatorship that was there in the first place? Well, who's to say what that outcome is going to be? And yet we continue to do this at a cost of our treasure and our lives. Let's bring this to an end. So, all of you, thank you for your activism. Thank you for bringing an issue that should concern all Americans to the forefront. And let's stop the wars. Let's get out of Afghanistan tomorrow. Let's bring the troops home. Let's stop with military intervention by the United States. Let's lead by example. Thank you very much.
That you guys will stay because Jordan Page is going to burn down the house when we're done.
I dedicate this song to Ben Bernanke. This is called The War Machine. Ashes to ashes, walls were falling down, slaves to the men that stole the crown. There's a warning sign like a blazing sun you don't want to see because you're having fun. But those who control all the information celebrate and lie to the people to keep us watching. And the walls come crashing down as the war at home reaches your town. You have no choice, it's safe and clean. We all submit to the war machine. Consequence be damned. Send a call for a brawl in a foreign land. We slide their advantage through the door, getting rich off the blood of the fighting poor. Well, that's your democracy, one big hypocrisy. You want me to give my life for country. They say sacrifice yourself today, but don't think about getting in our way. Camouflaged in black and green, one more gear in the war machine. Consequences so severe, so pull your trigger quickly, dear. Our patriots are acting up, let's punish them with fear. Hey, hey! Spades march on your town. They count the votes, they bought the dream, paid in full by the war machine. So you see the plan, an endless war, a profit scam. The system is right, the news you read, propaganda, plant your seeds in the mindless love of a generation captivated, trained, entertained, and held in bondage. Crashing in like a plague, they will blame it on our sins. The choice is posed by men unseen. Give yourself to the war machine.